Jobs for the boys yet again. This time it's an MP who's offering his mates a job. Yeah, like that's never happened before. But here we have the current Home Secretary, James Cleverly, being not so clever by transferring police powers to the Mayor of the West Midlands, Andy Street. Now imagine that, basically an elected civilian, albeit a civil servant still, but he's been handed police powers by his Tory buddy James Cleverly. Thankfully, this not so cleverly move has been challenged, but I doubt it was for the right reasons, and I do think underlying motives play a part. Simon Foster, the Labour Police and Crime Commissioner for the area, whose role is to be ended and scrapped at the elections in May in favour of giving the Mayor of the region the Police and Crime Commissioner's authority, has made a challenge to the courts over the move, accusing Cleverly of throwing out democratic norms to give his mate a job. It's actually been said that Street, the Mayor of West Midlands, wrote to his pal in the Home Office last November, asking for the transference of the powers to him. Later that same month, Cleverly decided to make the transfer with zero consent from other local authorities and without a public consultation. It said that following a challenge, a 6-week consultation was initiated. The consultation saw 50% of the 7,103 responses disagreed with the proposal, 46% supported it, while the remaining 4% did not know. So clearly a majority negative result, but Cleverly decided to ignore the consultation responses and again decided to back the transfer to the Mayor. Two Lords, Labour peer Lord Back and Home Office Minister Lord Sharp of Epsom, said, "I believe the throwing out of democratic norms in order to give your mate a job he wants is the most grievous ground for the regret motion, and it is unfortunate the initial decision was made without knowledge of the statutory requirements, but the appropriate steps were taken to ensure the decision to make this order was not made until the requirements had been met, respectively." Home Office Minister Lord Sharp also said the transfer of powers to the Mayor would help facilitate a whole system approach to crime reduction, and that it preserves a democratic accountability that underpins the PCC model, and at the same time it reduces the risk of competing democratic mandates within the West Midlands Combined Authority area, providing greater clarity for the electorate on who is responsible for public service functions in the area. We are simply transferring the exercise of policing governance functions from one directly elected role to another. Well, that may be so, but they are powers that are not insignificant and have a potential effect on the whole area. The fact the government can simply make up rules they like the sound of and then make them law when they have no real benefit to the public is absurd, hence why PCCs were elected for that specific role. And to be fair, most PCCs are useless anyway and literally only ever heard of when they want some public attention. But I have yet to hear of a PCC who has actually done their job and sacked an incompetent police chief. Trust me, there are many. Which is why these people who get the jobs as police and crime commissioners are in some way associated to a political party, because it's always jobs for the boys when it comes to positions of any authority. I mean, most people have their political views, but they are not just people with a political view. These are people involved in politics in some way, rather than simply actually wanting to do the best job for their local community. Well, that and along with the 100 grand a year or so that they get paid for what seems to be nothing at all. Even the House of Lords condemned the decision for James Cleverly to go ahead with the transfer, with a majority of Lords against it, but I guess as Cleverly is Sunak's buddy, he just thought he could do it anyway. Because politicians have no regard for you, the public, and are only interested in making sure they get paid and their mates are well looked after. Surely the mayor of any city has enough to deal with, without the added pressure of finding the time to monitor and make sure the local police force is doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, just take a look at our capital. London has fallen, and the police are absolutely broken, with Mayor Sadiq Khan unable to fix the issues and only appearing when a photo opportunity arises for him to get some publicity. These people do not care for you, me, or any other member of the public, and the fact that Cleverly, the Home Secretary, has ignored the democratic process to give his buddy the job and the powers that go along with it is ample evidence of that. Please do consider liking the video, maybe not because you like the content necessarily, but you appreciate the fact that I reported it. Please share so that anyone who has yet to hear of this gets to hear of it. And that also helps because YouTube won't monetize many of my videos because the content is against many of their advertising conditions, and therefore they don't promote my videos. So by you sharing them, that would help me out massively. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next.